Alright, so I was just going through something that was sent to me. It was about the night I tried to kill myself. This is before Joseph Lopez was caught. This is after repeated attempts to try to get the police to do something other than harass me and threaten me and separate me from those who are trying to help me. There's a few people who are typing on it that are familiar names, like Danica and Kara Johnson Miles and that Gale lady. And they're all talking about wellness checks. No, I needed a fucking cop, you idiots. I needed an officer to do their fucking job. I didn't need a fucking wellness check. I am so sick and tired of fucking wellness checks. I needed fucking help. I needed fucking help getting the cops to do their fucking jobs. Now, there's all that harassment that I was taking at the hands of Natalie's family. Rose calling me a stalker. Fuck no, I didn't stalk her. I was trying to get help because I was being fucking stalked, being harassed, being fucking assaulted. You goddamn right I spoke up. And then there's the fact that I don't take pills. Why don't I take pills? Because they don't work right in my system. So these people are like, oh, he's been asking somebody to kill him with pills for a month. No. By that point, it had been over a year. Over a year that I had been trying to trade my car for enough pills to kill myself. But the thing is that I needed this shit to stop before Natalie fucking died. I needed help with that. And all of the people that I went to help for did what? They talked over me and told me how to think and how to feel. I got a question for you. Let's say you love yourself, right? And somebody punches you in the face when you go to see your loved ones. Now you're pissed off, right? You just gotta love yourself. Just let it go. Yeah, you know what? It's because I love myself that I stuck up for myself. I defended myself the best way I could without violence. If you're gonna see me getting violent, you have to do some pretty drastic shit to get me that way. Threatening to kill my friends and family is a good way to fucking do that. For over a year, I took threats. Threat after threat after threat. Assault after assault after assault. And then Natalie was dead. The police wouldn't do their fucking jobs. They botched this more than they fucked up the John Bonet case. And a lot of officers took part in covering up that wrongdoing. Just assuming, just like you idiots with your fucking mental health checks. No, I needed some help. I needed someone to shut the fuck up and listen to what was going on and help me force the police to take a look. I can't do that by myself. I needed someone to go in with me. Of course, the laws are set up so that if you're broke, you have no rights. You need somebody to go in there with you. This ain't like Donald Trump fucking bitching on national television I can't buy myself out of this like he can. Natalie knew that I wasn't stalking her. She knew I was asking for these people to put a stop to it. But she didn't want her heroin habit being brought up with the police. That's why she wouldn't meet me at the cop shop. The worst thing for me was knowing that her predators got to do whatever the fuck they wanted. Her predators, the very people that she needed rescued from in Colorado, were getting a hold of me to threaten my life. Imagine what that feels like. Then I want you to imagine how many times that's happened to me. I've rescued a lot of people from shitty situations. Natalie wasn't the first, and she sure as fuck wasn't the last. I rescued Desiree after Natalie died. And then I rescued her a second time. She stole all of my things that were worth money. And when she needed my help, I was still there. I'm not going to forget how you treated me. I'm not going to forget that you stole from me. I'm not going to forget the bad shit that you did to me. But I'm still going to put myself out there to rescue your dumb ass. The police went out of their way to destroy every piece of evidence they could. Everything they thought they could get away with. Stealing my pictures, that was pretty fucked up of them. A lot of these people who were pretending like they cared, they were just pretending. While I was being tortured by the police and by the courts, and it is torture. When you don't have the money to feed yourself and they're demanding more money, you have to go here, you have to go there. When they're not willing to take your police report because people are calling in wellness checks, fuck you. I'm suicidal for a fucking reason. It's because of all the fucking abuse that I've had to take because people wouldn't come forward. Danica pretended to care. But the fact is, she had a lot to hide. All of them did. Every one of them did fucked up shit and had no remorse about it. Danica could have told the truth, so could Miss Shelley. And I should have been allowed an honest day in court to show them what's going on. But the police and the Bollingers worked together. Not just the Bollingers, but also Rochelle Shelley Campbell and Danica Garner. And Rose M. Self. Her last name is Self. She's selfish. She should have been a mother. A mother. And as I go through this stuff, it occurs to me that these idiots had no fucking clue what was going on. They didn't care what was going on. I needed this shit to stop. When I went to Boulder to get help. And the help that I got was a drug dealer named Todd screaming at his girlfriend and screaming at me over stupid shit. He'd say we need to be happy. So me and Chloe would have a decent conversation. And then he'd get pissed off because we were having a conversation. Busy telling her how fucking stupid she is. I agree with him. She is fucking stupid. She went back. I think most of these people are stupid for going back. If a man ever hit me, I'd be done with him. No, the fuck you wouldn't. You have any idea how many times I've heard that in my life and how many times she's gone back? By she, I'm talking about most of the women that I know. They're addicted to that abuse. I needed people to leave me alone. I drove 1,700 miles to Virginia so that Natalie wouldn't kill herself. At her request. I drove 1,700 miles away from Natalie and her family and gave them an entire fucking state all to themselves. That wasn't good enough, though. I got back to Boulder and there's already rumors of I'm a this and I'm a that. You shouldn't call somebody a stalker if you're not being stalked. If you ask somebody to do something and then they do it and then you punish them for it, you're a shitty excuse for a human being. People keep saying, you chose this, you chose this. No, I didn't. I didn't choose for this mass quantity of hell to fall upon me. That's what I get for being a decent person. But then, people want to judge me because of how I treated them. But they didn't want to get judged for treating me that way first. See, when I left Virginia, I was done with a lot of people. I was done with Candace Bondurant. I was done with Natalie and Alycia. I was done with Miss Jerry. I was done with Lana and Amanda. I was done with them. They were out of my life and they should have stayed out of my life. Now that night I took the pills. I'm going to tell you what happened. There's a guy named Neil DiMaccio. He used to work at the Starbucks on Pearl Street in Boulder, Colorado. And there was a woman named Haley Smith. There's two different Haley Smiths that I speak about. This Haley Smith was also an employee at Starbucks at one point in time. Now that Haley Smith, she rented me a room, and Brandon Ratner gave me a ride to that room. I had just gotten my check, so I went and bought a computer. Matter of fact, it's this computer right here. It doesn't have a camera on it. Now this is after all of the shit with Officer Michael Beard and the situation with Miss Shelley being highly at risk because Officer Michael Beard wouldn't have done a damn thing. Obviously it was staged. If it hadn't been staged, he wouldn't have had a shit-eating ear-to-ear grin, and he wouldn't have been waiting outside. Officer Beard knew what was up before he ever got the phone call. So, Neil DiMaccio, when he showed up to the hotel room, this is like 2 weeks after being assaulted by the police in Boulder. And I've been trying to get help getting someone to go in with me. I've been explaining this for 2 years. Almost 2 years anyway. It's 2 years because I needed somebody to go in with me before Natalie died. But it's the professionals, as you want to call them, not doing their jobs that resulted in this being such a fucked up situation. The police should never, ever be allowed to blow someone off who is trying to tell you what's going on. When you're trying to make a police report, first of all, you should be provided with a safe place to sit down and write that police report out, and ample time to do so. You should never be dragged off and drugged up for trying to do that. Now that Officer Ryan, who was supposed to either him or his partner come and speak to me, He should have showed up instead of sending the border police hobo hunters. And he told me that he wouldn't send the border police. It would be either him or his partner. He outright lied. And they lied to me repeatedly like that. Shelly and Danica both kept in contact with me, but only while I was on a Facebook ban. Somehow magically, when I was off of a Facebook ban, they couldn't get a hold of me, couldn't make an effort to get a hold of me, claimed things like they're hardly ever on Facebook, and then they're all over in these Natalie groups. And then there's Kara Johnson Miles. She's on there. She's talking about how she feels bad for me. Well, if she felt bad for me, she wouldn't have pulled the bullshit that she did. Pretending to be an autism advocate. Pretending like she's going to help. The way that they played it out and the way that it actually went down are not the same. As far as pills go, I quit taking those December 14th, 1997, and my life got a lot better. I still had to deal with shitty people and shitty situations and people's ignorance. But I was able to think clearly. I was physically able to take care of myself decently. I didn't have the finances to do so. But because of a woman named Kimberly Jepson and a man named Jason Jepson, they were able to get their mother, Terry Jepson, and their father, Ron Jepson, to allow me to stay in their garage. That's right when I turned 18. Because of a woman named Polly Olson, I was finally able to get an ID. A lot of people took advantage of me since Natalie died. A lot of people took advantage of the reputation that I got over the Natalie situation to try to play victim when they did something wrong. And a lot of people, they want to say, you shouldn't live in the past. Well, the past still affects me. The rumors that were started by Natalie Bollinger, Alycia Bollinger, and Maddie Boa, I still have the repercussions of that. All of this happened because they were not honest. They outright lied. I was trying to get an honest court date every step of the way. I needed help. Natalie didn't need an honest court date. She needed to have exactly what happened. She wanted a dishonest, one-sided court date, and she got that. That is exactly what she got. With Natalie, though, that was partially my fault. I can't say that it's all my fault because I couldn't have gone either way because Ken and Leah stole all of my money. I could not have gone to court if I wanted to. The medical professionals at Clearview and the police professionals like Officer Lolatai, what they did was prevent the truth from coming out. Prevent the truth from being shown. The police went out of their way to try to treat me as shittily as possible and try to paint me as terrible a person as possible because I have so much dirt on those cops. Dirt that nobody wanted to listen to. But the things that I spoke out about for years and years, well, you guys get to see how that stuff comes to light. And even after that stuff comes to light, people still don't want to listen to me because of the slander by Natalie Bollinger, Alycia Bollinger, and Maddie Boa. When somebody drives 1,700 miles to get the fuck away from you, maybe You should just let them go. Natalie and her friends and family did not do that. They played victim, and playing victim resulted in druggies harming me. No, I'm not going to stop speaking out until I get an honest day in court. Alycia Bollinger belongs in prison. And these police belong in prison. And that's where the major issue is with the police. Is that literally what they did to me is against the law in all 50 states. These officers didn't give a fuck what was going on. They just wanted to put me on a mental health check, just like everyone else. No, I was pushed to the point of extremism. People were violent with me for a whole year before Natalie was killed. Now, most of that I don't consider assaults. When people shoved me or pushed me or knocked the phone out of my hand, I didn't consider those assaults. When people shoulder checked me, I didn't consider that an assault. When Fuzzy did it, though, he did it to an extreme. Christopher Tapp is Fuzzy's real name. Between listening to me and screaming about his ex, he chose to scream about his ex. And just stayed screaming about his ex while he drank Jameson and got physical. He didn't just push me once, he pushed me repeatedly. And all these people in these groups that are supposed to be so concerned back then, they weren't concerned. If they were concerned, they would have actually helped me to get the police to take my fucking report. I mean, those people in that video, by the way, I posted it before this one. It's called From the Night I Took the Pills. The thing is, when I took those pills, Neil was supposed to help me, and he really didn't. He sat down after I spent a bunch of money because his phone was off, and he needed a charge, and I needed charges on my electronic devices, so I spent the money to do that. And then he just wrote down the headlines. I'm like, dude, that's not helping me. When he left and the other people that Haley had told me were going to be there were not there, I gave up. I wanted my life to be over so that if Ted did anything to Danica or anything to Shelley, that they'd know exactly who to go for. If anything happened to Alycia, they'd know exactly who to go for. They preyed on my decency. They preyed on the fact that I actually care. I don't pretend to. At my grandma's funeral, Alycia and her father preyed on the fact that I was afraid of Ted doing something to his own family because he has a history of doing so. From physical assault to sexual violence. The man is a predator. It's what he does. It's who he is. What Kara Johnson Miles did, yeah, that's the most fucked up thing. Same thing with Layla Johnson. You know, I really had to trust a lot of people that were not trustworthy. People who were just busy playing head games. People like Kara Johnson, Karamia, Layla Johnson. Your names aren't safe with me. Your stories are not safe with me. I said right from the start, don't tell me anything that you don't want the police to know. Don't tell me anything that you're not willing to tell the police. If you want your name hidden, you're doing something wrong. I didn't try to hide who I was. When I made those 2 Facebook accounts to try to get a hold of Natalie, Alycia, and Maddie to get them to stop the fucking violence, to put a stop to it, to call off the fucking dogs, I let them know exactly who I was. It's Sean. Now it's pretty fucking obvious that I was trying to get a court date. The police did everything in their power not to take a report from me. Not to do anything about Dalton Crawford. Not to do anything about Ted Bollinger. Not to do anything about that Braxton feller. Or Mr. Murphy. Or any of the other people who were threatening my life. Sending me pictures of firearms. Telling me they're gonna kill me. Now I gave them ample time. Those people who threatened to kill me, I gave them 3 days each. 3 days to keep their word before going to the police. Not that it mattered, the police wouldn't do a goddamn thing. Meanwhile, I'm having to deal with the very same departments who blew me off when I was trying to let them know there was an issue. The people who I should have been able to depend on, because they're the people that you pay to do these things. I should have been able to depend on Jeff Ritter. I should have been able to depend on Kara Heller and Nicole Peralta. I should have been able to go to the police in Chapel, Nebraska. I should have been able to go to the police in Boulder, Colorado. I should have been able to go to my friends. But no, that didn't get to happen. I'm going to continue to shame all of the people who bullshitted me, said that they would write a report, and just never did. I needed the violence to stop. When Derek Apodaca assaulted me, and then Rose picked him up as a friend, obviously she's working together to see to it that I am assaulted repeatedly. Just like she did when I was in Virginia last time. Her daughter was afraid to be honest with her. That's not my fault. That's not my decision. Alycia Bollinger lied outright to Maddie Boa. Not my fault. Not my choice. Not my decision. Maddie chose to go spreading rumors to all of her little meth buddies and her customers. Not my choice. Not my decision. Maddie Boa, you're a terrible excuse for a human being. Alycia Bollinger, so are you. I am not going to stop pursuing you until I get my day in court. I will pursue you to the ends of the earth if I have to. I am after an honest day in court. Alycia Bollinger, you're going to come forward and you're going to tell the truth. And your friends who threatened my life, they committed felonies by doing so. You're animals. If you really cared, you would have